We'll split the difference on it. Yeah.
Where'd you guys get all of this platinum from? Oh wait, I had to pay for that book. Never mind.
Oh yeah, that's right. You bought the book. I remember.
Well, Melton had a little fun at the tables. Little dice throwing, a little fun.
That's true too. All right, so Mirabar it is. And she
Indeed.
looks to you. All right. So you see, she kind of goes over and speaks to the fire elemental, and you see the flames kind of ignite, and the balloon sort of gets a little bit bigger, and it kind of gives sort of a little bit of a yellowish red glow from the balloon itself, similar to a hot air balloon that you would typically see. You see that the boat does actually turn completely 180 degrees around and starts heading towards the southwest. As this happens, you see that you're about 500 to 1,000 feet off the ground. You get very great views of the area here. It's a pretty clear sky. You do see some birds that are off in the distance, but nothing that seems to be of a big threat. You travel for most of the day, getting through the night, and off in the distance you can see that the mountains have started to become more of like rolling hills. Everything is still completely covered in snow. You do see various creatures and whatnot kind of climbing through the areas there on the hills and whatnot, but don't see anything really of danger. The sun is starting to set, and Zathalia kind of looks over and she says, "We need a good place to land, don't you think? I can't keep this thing floating in the air. If we can't see at night, it's pretty dangerous because we're pretty obvious up here."
Well,
Right.
if we can't see them, they can't see us.
She kind of looks up to the balloon, and you see the balloon now is glowing and is like a big light. She looks back down.
Okay.
All right, then can you put us down outside, as close as we can without being too obvious to the city?
Yeah, so she says, yep, it looks like probably another half day to the city, to be honest with you, by flight. So we kind of need some assistance kind of finding an area kind of to put this down. I need somebody to give me a survival check. Be a good landing spot for this boat.
Stig's got survival, don't you?
Can I give you some guidance on that?
You can. So Stig, as you're looking around, Barry is trying to help, and you see, kind of feel that sensation of some unworldly creature or god trying to help guide you as you are looking. You see a nice area that's kind of in between three hills that are look to be pretty high. There's copses of trees that are kind of around the top of it. There is an opening kind of to the south, but that also has trees that's surrounding it, but it's a nice open area between those hills. Looks like a pretty good place to go, and looks like the hills are high enough that it would hide the balloon. So Zathalia kind of guides the boat down there, and as it lands, the balloon stays inflated, but you notice that the fire elemental just puts a little bit of fire every once in a while, kind of to keep the balloon itself inflated. And Zathalia looks and she says, "Boy, nice choice. You've been on airboats before, I see, huh?"
No, I just know my land.
Ah, very good, very good. So she kind of puts that. They do set up guards. You guys don't need to guard throughout the night unless you desire to. There's 4 of you, so.
So, is this boat for us, and you guys are going to leave, or you're staying here to crew it for us?
Oh, well, we crew it. This is our boat. We're just sent by Klaus to assist you.
Okay.
And so they kind of stay and kind of guard the top of the boat, taking shifts. Do you guys want to take shifts as well?
Relenia, she'll just sleep.
I can take an early morning shift.
I'll take a shift.
All right. Gotcha.
Melton to take one.
All right, gotcha. William will as well. So, so you guys do keep watch with the remaining of the crew as well. Not what I wanted. So you guys get through the rest of the night without any issues. Is there anything that you want to do on your 2 hours of watch at all, other than watching?
I usually, or what I will do, just as standard, is just read my book on herbalism.
Perfect. Excellent. So you're able to get some reading time in. How about the rest of the group? Anybody else?
Well, while nobody else is looking, I go over to Relania's body and I paint like things on her face, like Kilroy was here,
Okay.
things like that, and then wrap her back up so nobody
right.
know.
Okay, gotcha. So
Paint her fingernails, paint the top of her eyelids like they're black, and I draw little funny looking eyes on them.
okay, all right, gotcha. So so you kind of do all of that and put her back into the bag.
Yep.
And then
And
Steak,
the haversack.
and the haversack, right? How about you, Steak?
I'll just hang out on the boat and talk with the people on the boat.
Perfect. Excellent. So, general discussion with them. You find out for everybody that was on watch that they really have been traveling. Most of them are from more of the kind of the coast itself, down by Thornhold region, and they have been kind of trying to find Lord Clouth, is what they called the dragon, and so they've been searching long and far, and eventually developed this boat once they met Zethalia and this having this interesting sort of fire elemental that she had captured to make the boat go up. They do say that they have fought creatures before. While they've been flying, on occasion, some creatures will be curious and come find them, that it may be in the sky because they're so easily to be seen. And they said that they did have one incident where they almost lost the boat because the balloon got injured or damaged, but they were able to rappel up there and try to repair it as they were being attacked. And they took it down pretty quickly and got down to the ground in time. But otherwise, just kind of general discussions and whatnot. So, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna ask, did they run into any dragons?
One of them who was Brazik, who was on watch with you, says, "Yeah, we did see some dragons. We've had a silver dragon that decided just to kind of land on the edge and talk to us. We thought it was going to attack us, but it didn't. Once we paid her homage and whatnot, she said she may come back in the future. We did have a small blue dragon that kind of attacked us kind of south down by Long Saddle, which was pretty scary, to be honest with you, because you never want lightning bolts coming at your balloon, but or not lightning, lightning and ice, yeah. So that was kind of scary, but we were able to land and kind of get out of the boat and whatnot, and she kind of took off. But yeah, we've seen a couple. We also had some issues with some griffins too in the past.
Huh, okay. We've run across a bronze dragon here and there. Just curious if he had bothered you guys.
No, we haven't seen any bronze dragons. Do you know a bronze dragon?
We do.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a young dragon who causes a bit of trouble, but generally pretty good.
Wow, that's really, really cool. Interesting. What's the dragon's name?
Freddy?
Freddy, nice. I'll have to watch for Freddy. So pretty interesting name. I've never heard a dragon named so commonly.
I'm just being a little evasive.
Yeah,
He just seems too eager.
Figured that. So anyways, you guys kind of continue to talk about dragons and whatnot, and he sort of kind of almost talks to you about the different types of dragons and how they're great, and really you seem pretty interested, and they could use another person, and they even have a cloak downstairs that they could give you, and kind of talking about their beliefs in that dragons are gonna rule the world.
That all sounds well and fine, but we're on a mission for now.
Fair. And sticks out his hand. My name's Brazik, but everybody calls me Brass.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Brass.
Nice to meet you. Kind of gives you a good handshake. Morning comes. Unfortunately, today seems to be a fairly cloudy day. You kind of have a pretty good wind that's kind of blowing across the top of the balloon. You can see it kind of going back and forth. But thankfully, the wind seems to be coming from the north, so it's kind of blowing in a southerly direction, so it won't cause any trouble with your travel time. Once everybody's up, you see the crew is back up to the top of the boat, and Zethalia says, "All right, we're ready to push off here. We're not going to be able to see very well, so we're going to be flying kind of low." Obviously, Releni, you're still at 52, but and they kind of lift off and take off. So as you guys travel for a few hours, you travel pretty close, almost treetop level, really, and you see a lot more of the land and whatnot. You do see the river that you guys had followed, and you're kind of following the river now, and you see a large city kind of up in the coming forward, and interesting that it has these huge sloped walls that are thick, and the slope in them is almost like a slide, if you think of like a kid's slide, and it goes from the base of the slide is outside the city, and the top is at in the inside of the city, so a triangle type shape. And along the top you see what looks like towers as well as walkways along the sides there. The slope is very steep, and you see that along each side about 50 to 100 feet along that wall, they have buckets and whatnot where it looks like they could pour liquid down these walls onto oncoming people that are trying to attack. There's 3 entrances to the city, and you see that the 3 roads that are there that are surrounding Mirabar are the entrances that are there. You see that it appears to be a very well built city, and it's almost in a wagon wheel spoke type of presentation. The streets kind of go towards the center, and then you see there's an inner wall that goes around, and then there's streets from that inner wall that go into the center as well, which are staggered. So has a pretty well defensive sort of presentation to it. And you see off to the north, you could see wagons carrying what appears to be ore and whatnot coming down into Mirabar, and they seem to be led by what looks like dwarven horse trains and mule trains. So you guys kind of get sort of a close fly. You do see that the guards are poised and looking up at you as you approach, and Zathalia says, where would you like me to put this thing down?
Can you put it on the roof?
I could. I'm afraid if I go past that wall, though, they're going to start shooting at us. They look a little on edge.
Well, wave at them and smile.
So you see her kind of look over the edge, and she kind of shakes her head, and she waves, and she kind of looks back and says, okay, other suggestions?
Maybe put us down a little outside.
Maybe start throwing gold out the ship.
You make it rain, huh? So she's like, okay, and she kind of pulls over and she says, well, I think probably the southern side is probably the best. She says, we'll kind of put it between that road over there to the west and between the river. So she kind of goes over and she puts it down about maybe 100 yards or so from the city wall, and as it goes down, she says, I'm going to send a couple of my guys in just to get some supplies and whatnot. And then just let me know when you guys are ready. I'll be out here waiting, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So you see that 2 people come, Parala as well as Tralt. Both of them kind of get out of the boat and come over the edge. And then they kind of look to you guys, and one of them says, do you think you need your horses?
How far outside the city are we?
About 100 yards.
I don't think so. What do the rest of you think?
Yeah, I think we're good. Can you watch them for us?
Yeah. We can keep an eye on them. They're in the boat. We'll take care of them.
All right. Somebody's got to get Pancake Patty though.
Oh, it's in the sack, huh? I'll take the haversack from William.
Okay. The position's not exactly where you're at, but you're pretty close to there. All right, so you take the haversack from William, and you see William's on the boat, kind of pounding on his half plate that he's building, and you guys gonna push off and head in. So as you get up towards the building walls, you see now that these walls, there's definitely no way you could climb the walls. They're very slick, but you do see what looks like little grooves that are kind of cut into it, almost as if a humanoid could slide down them, or you could pour something down them. And as you get up to the gate, you see that it's a large stone gate that's closed, and across the gate you see the picture of what looks like a large hammer with the part of the hammer up at the top, and there's 2 swords that sort of cross it in the middle. You do see a human guard that's standing there when you walk up, and he kind of looks and he says, it's a pretty nice boat you got there.
Yeah, it is. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, pretty hard not to notice it. Made quite a roust inside. Everybody thought we were being attacked.
Well, that's why we just left it outside. Hopefully, we didn't cause too much of a problem.
I think once they saw you land and nothing else was coming, they seemed to be all right. But what's your business?
Well, we need to take care of some business in here. First off, we need to go to one of the temples.
Ah, okay. Moradin is probably the temple you want. This is a dwarven town. Well, used to be, anyways.
Stick, which god do you follow? I don't remember.
Helm.
Helm. Yeah, he's Helm.
What about a Temple of Helm? Do you know if there's one here?
Yeah, we do have one. It's a small following, but there's one there, sure. I would check the north side of town. Just go towards the inner wall, and then follow the inner wall around. And then it's just probably on the street of Griffin, I believe it is.
Okay, that would be great.
Excellent. And welcome to the richest town north of Neverwinter. And he kind of opens up the gate. He says, by the way, no thieving here, okay? We're very strict.
Oh, you've got nothing to worry about.
Good, good. None of you look like thieves. And the door opens, and as it opens, you see that there's a central road that kind of goes towards the center. There's many buildings and whatnot along the side. And you see that there's a lot of people that are here kind of milling about, mostly human. There are a few dwarves as well as some of the other races, elves. Not very many, though. A couple gnomes running about. And they seem to be very serious appearing people. You don't hear a lot of laughter at all. You see people kind of moving back and forth. They notice you as you walk in, and they kind of give you a look, and then they kind of go back to doing what they're doing. You do see that there's not a lot of fruits and vegetables that are out here, or what you'd expect, hawking of goods and whatnot. Everybody seems to be moving around kind of with a purpose. And they appear to be people that sort of live a harder life. Their hands are very worn and calloused, and you do see that people look quite a bit older here than what you would expect them to typically look. They don't look downtrodden or anything. They're just, they seem to be very serious folk.
Melton, have you ever been here before?
Yep, can't say I have.
As you look around, people again are kind of milling about and whatnot, and it doesn't appear that anybody's giving you any sort of look. It looks like they're used to having some people coming in and out of the town.
Well, I put my hat disguise on and I look like a halfling.
Alrighty, sounds good. Melton changes into a halfling.
Well, that's when they said that we didn't look like thieves. I just looked over at Melton.
Uh-huh.
Nobody expects the halfling.
Never, right? Never.
All right, so Helm, if you don't, Stig, if you don't mind, maybe we head over to Helm's temple and see if we can get Relania taken care of.
No, that sounds great. I think he said Griffin Road.
Yeah, Griffin Street or Road.
Yep, yeah, he sure did. So as you continue to walk, you notice that there's really no side streets. This is just one long street that continues, and it travels for quite a distance, actually. But finally you get to the center road, or the center wall, and as you get there, you see a carving that's on the wall there, and you see what appears to be the carving of a flame. It's about 4 feet high. That's there, and you see there's a road that kind of goes around the wall, and you see people kind of walk to the end, and then they either go to the left or to the right following the wall. You do see there's gates up ahead that maybe enter into the more inner part, but
Are there any vendors like in this area?
there's not. Just people moving back and forth. You do see some buildings along the side. People are going about. You guys are kind of standing there looking both to the left and the right at the end of this road, and you see people kind of walking around you or walking in between you, but they all seem to be very busy walking to where they need to go.
No street signs, huh?
Not that you see. Nothing. There's no posts or signs or anything like that.
Maybe you should ask somebody. Barry, not Stig.
Not. All right. I'll just try to stop. First person that looks halfway. Well, yeah, first person that comes by.
All right, sounds good. So you see a dwarf that kind of rambles through, and he kind of starts to walk in between you guys as you're all standing there.
Excuse me, sir.
What? Who? Huh?
Can I ask you a question?
What? What do you want? I got business to do.
Looking for directions to the Temple of Helm. Could you help us a bit?
Yeah, Griffin Street. And then he starts to walk away.
Which direction?
Huh? Griffin Street. He says, go around the circle. Griffin Street.
Which way? Left or right?
Left, I guess. He's like, just find the sign for Griffin Street. You'll be fine. He waves. See ya. He keeps walking.
Just find the sign for Griffin Street. Okay, I guess we'll go around to the left.
Alrighty. So as you guys continue off to the left, you continue to walk. You come up to the next street. You notice that there's no street signs there. And then on the wall you see what appears to be a large cloud carved into the wall.
So the first one was flame and this one's a cloud.
Guess we go till we see a bird or a griffin.
You guys continue to walk around the circle. You see various shapes. You see an axe with one street. You see another thing. And eventually you find a griffin carved into the side of a wall, and there's a street going north.
Think we found our street.
Let's head up that direction then.
Alrighty. So you guys continue kind of going up the street. As you do, there's not as much traffic as you've seen on the entrance street there, but you do still see some traffic kind of coming about. You do see that this appears to be a road of what looks like temples or whatnot, a little bit nicer areas. There's some fenced-in yards for a little bit bigger estates and whatnot. Eventually, you do see the symbol of Helmstig on a small building, nonetheless, but it's a nice stone building, well kept over on the right.
Whew. All right. I'll walk up. And
Alrighty.
knock.
Yep. So you kind of knock, and the doors sort of, as you go to knock, the door kind of swings open, and you see what appears to be a small temple. There's about 12 lines of benches there. There's a very respectable altar that's there, and you do see a gentleman who's kind of arranging something on the table. As he turns, you notice that he has appears to be elven, but he has very dark skin.
Brother of the helm.
Ah, brother, good to see you. Come in.
Thank you. We require the assistance of a high-level priest.
What do you need? Please tell me you
Well-
don't have disintegration or dust, because I'm not that good.
No, we have a companion that ran over by a boulder, and unfortunately, on a Lord's Alliance quest, and we could really use some assistance.
Wow.
Melton goes digging in Stig's pack and pulls out Relenia and unrolls her.
All right. So you kind of unroll. Melton unrolls her, kind of holding her up, trying to, right? She rolls out like a carpet.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, all right, gotcha. This is the first time you've all seen what Melton has decided to do to poor Relenia, right? And the priest goes, "Oh my God, what happened to her?"
Oh, pagans.
Yes.
Pagans got to her.
Terrible. This is terrible. He turns around and he looks at you. He says, "By the way, I'm Turvon. Nice to see you. How long's it been?"
I'm Stig. It's been about 3 days. I cast General Repose after the first day.
Good call. Good. That's a great idea. All right. Well, I think I can probably assist with this. I do need about an hour to procure a diamond, though. Do you have any money for diamond?
Oh yeah, we have money for a diamond. How much do you think it will run here?
Well, diamonds are fairly cheap. Probably about 400 gold. There's a horse.
All right.
All right. It says if you have coin, I can procure that. I need about an hour. You're welcome to stay here and bless Helm. And
Yeah, how about we give you these gemstones?
how many do you have?
Oh, we got 7 there. They should be worth 100 each, so we just give you 4 of them, and then we can get them.
Okay. He says, sure, I'll take those. And,
Yeah, how about we throw? And how much do you charge?
for a brother helm, nothing.
Oh well, here's 4 gemstones. I'll mark it out in the inventory.
All right, that sounds great. He says, please, I'll be back in about an hour. So he goes
Thank
out.
you.
Yep. So he kind of steps out, and you see him kind of leave, and you guys are sitting there with Relenia rolled out with various things of drawings on her.
You know she's going to be upset about that.
What are you talking about?
Pretty sure when she went into the bag that she didn't have all of these drawings all over her.
I think you're right. It must have been to those sneaky dragon folks.
Yeah, it must have been.
And somebody put a name tag on it that says Pancake Patty.
I think that's her nickname now.
Oh man. So Turvon comes back after about an hour of you guys being in there. He kind of hustles in and he says, sorry, it took me so long. It was a little hard to sell some of those gemstones. They seem to be very common up in the mines for some odd reason. So, but I was able to procure enough money to get a diamond for exchange. He,
Excellent.
He kind of picks up Relenia's body and sets it on the altar there, and kind of stands there, and he starts to what appears to be cast a spell. And as he's casting the spell, you can kind of see him sort of caught in a trance. And at one point, his eyes open, which is unusual because casting spells that typically doesn't happen. And he looks to all of you and he says, "It's peculiar, to be honest.
What is?
I've never really had this happen before. During my prayer, I was visited by a god, god of Sylvanas. I've never met her before. A beautiful creature. But she said that in order for Relenia to be brought back from her care, I need to know a little bit about her because she's not sure that I have the right intentions for bringing her back. So I guess I need something from each of you about her that you know that maybe will help Sylvanas allow her to be returned to me.
I know that she is a druid.
Okay, alrighty, that'll help. Any other stories or recollections that may assist?
Well, she's got a pretty wicked staff.
Okay, alright, nice. Alright, anything else?
She likes to walk softly with pass without a trace and carry a big stick.
Nice. I like it. So he says, okay. He says he goes kind of back to doing his spell and casting the incantations, and you all sort of stand there awkwardly, kind of waiting. And suddenly you notice that her form starts to not be flattened. The arms and legs kind of return back into positions that you would expect. The bruises and whatnot start to kind of go away and kind of disappear. And he kind of looks to you guys and he says, I'm done. And he kind of looks down and he says, interesting. Not really breathing, is she?
Doesn't appear.
Yeah, that's weird.
Have you done this before?
Yeah, a couple times. Well, maybe on a, friendly cat or something. I've never really tried to bring back a humanoid, but yeah. Hey, let me check my book. And he kind of gets out his little book and is kind of paging through the pages. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yep. I did that. Yep. Mm-hmm. I did that. Yep. Oh. Hang on one second. And he kind of goes back and says another prayer and kind of looks, and you see Relenia sort of takes a big breath.
Are you awake, Relenia?
Is that my cue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I fall asleep on you guys?
Oh, something like that. What's the last thing you remember?
Well, I I was battling some sort of giant golem or something or other, and I could have swore we defeated it, and that's the last I remember. But I must have fallen asleep or something, because I awoke in a field and my mentor was there. Reliagan. Reliagan had found me as a child and raised me and taught me the druid ways. We walked together for quite a while, and I noticed that we were in the high forest, and I have no idea how I could have possibly gotten into the high forest. But then he took me further, and we met with the grandfather tree. The grandfather tree was surrounded by many barbarians. I think they're from the Uthgard tribe, and we've heard of this tribe. They're called the Tree Ghosts. They live not far from where I grew up as a child. We were able to talk to the grandfather tree, and he told me that the quarterstaff that I carry is very powerful, and it's ancient, and it's able to do both good and evil. We continued on, and he made a comment about an onyx shard that I carry, and I think maybe the onyx shard might combine or do something with the staff. When Reliagan had found me as a child, this was the only thing that I had on me. It's just a small black piece of onyx that I've carried with me all my life, and it's always warm, no matter how cold out it is, or if it's wet, or it's always warm. And recently, I had never noticed it before, but ever since I met up with you guys and been adventuring with you, I've noticed that there's some runes on it, and every once in a while they'll start to glow. He also told us that there might be another ancient relic buried in one of the grave sites that are buried on the outside. It's where the Uthgard bury their greatest warriors and such. I think Harshnag had drawn on the map and told us that there was a relic site in the high forest, and I think maybe it's at the end of the grandfather tree's roots. Then the weirdest thing, as I was walking with Reliagan, he disappeared, and I was in a field, and this beautiful horse came to me, and as it got closer, it transformed into a woman, and I recognized her as the god I worship, Sylvanus. And she walked with me, she took my hand and led me down this path, and all of a sudden she disappeared, and I awoke here. And as she disappeared, she just told me to be well and do good and continue to protect the land and those that live in it. And then I was here.